A Wailea wedding with sweeping ocean views of Molokini Crater and Kaho'olawe off in the distance as the ceremony backdrop, and then the reception with just an epic sunset afterglow. That was our fate at this wedding from August 2024 at Gather on Maui. Let's get into episode 2 of the Creative Brief, in which we explore wedding insights from the filmmaker's perspective. Let's do this. All right, so here we are on the color grading page of DaVinci Resolve with this incredible sunset shot of Sarah and Parker, our couple for this creative brief. The wedding date, like I said, was in August 2024. The venue was Gather on Maui, and the planner was Ashley Ularia at A Dream Wedding Maui style. We had the ceremony, family photos, a little bit of reception in which Sarah and Parker could hang with their friends and family, enjoy some cocktails, incredible poo-poos, and we'll get into it in just a second. They also had one of those caricature artists that was hilarious. And then we just had time to head down to the beach and capture shots like this one, and then back up to the reception at Gather, where we got all the beautiful things at the reception, first dances, the grand entrance before that, cake cut, and speeches. So let's get into watching the entire trailer, and then I'll analyze and just talk about what that was all about to give you some insights from the filmmaker's perspective.
Parker, I love you for how you treat my sister. I love you for the husband that you are now to her. I could have never wished for another brother better than you.
I will share my strengths and my achievements.
I promise to respect you, to be your best friend.
Marriage and life is like a roller coaster ride. Sometimes it's a slow, bumpy trip to the top, but it's still fun as you hold hands and giggle in anticipation of what lies ahead. And other times you're falling fast, twisting and turning, and all you can do is hang on to each other, close your eyes, and scream. But that's the catch. As long as you hang on to each other tightly, you'll get to the end of that roller coaster ride, and you'll want to ride it again together.
Oh, so cute. The first thing that just strikes me, and this is why we highlighted this in this wedding, and we went with an opener like this, is because the friends and family who were there were just so heartfelt. There was a depth to the things they said, and as you could tell, this is the brother. Even he has got a little bit of a teary eye, and as you saw, Parker during the ceremony shedding a tear, right? So when we see speeches like this, it's just narrative gold, and we're always trying to create some kind of narrative arc in the piece that speaks to plot points that make up a good story, right? There's a science and an art to storytelling, and sometimes the plot points come together at a wedding. Sometimes it's a little bit more abstract. But in this case, we want to go with a hook and something really heartfelt like this, like Parker's brother shares here. right? And he's speaking to his brother. And so we cut to a picture of the brother listening intently. And he speaks about Sarah, how she's the perfect person for him, and she's listening. So we go back to that reaction shot. This is what I always try to encourage couples to speak with their speech givers, right? And to have them say something meaningful and always from the heart. Because what happens when a character in a film really, really feels it, whether it's a documentary or a scripted narrative, if we can see that the character really feels it, right? When something's sad, they cry. When it's tears of joy, they let it out. If their heart flutters, you can see it in their face. You can hear it in their words, right? And so the more authentic people can be and are willing to be and make themselves vulnerable, the more impactful any film will be, including a wedding film. So here we were down on the beach. Mary Lane at Mary Lane Studios was with us for this, and we had a wonderful time down there. This was after the ceremony, family photos, and a little bit of cocktail hour at the reception. And then we just ventured down to the beach, which is about a 3 to 5 minute drive. It's right there. And we had this wonderful session here. You could see our editor, I'm not sure if it was Gianna or Andre, did a little bit of a little magic over here with the title disappearing behind his leg. And you can see it was a beautiful, beautiful sunset. Not so much color, but I mean, just gorgeous. And these two beautiful people just having a wonderful time. Here's where you can see Parker just choke up. I love seeing this. That makes this job so fun. And one thing that about just from the technical aspect of the lighting, we love to shoot into the shadows because it kind of gives these depth cues. And, lucky for us, the sun was coming sort of from, I'm going to say, 30 degrees sort of behind Parker here, which made... Yeah, it was still earlier in the day, so it's quite contrasty, but generally well balanced. And then here we get to her reaction shot, and quite contrasty, but still, there's still detail in the shadows here, very high contrast ratio, but still beautiful, and a reaction shot to something somebody says. Oh my gosh, it makes us as the audience feel it even more. We had some more there. We packed out the drone and did a couple of drone shots. Love to see the water lapping up against the shore. Love to get really nice and close on these dance scenes, get some dynamism going. Here's that reception I was telling you about with the beautiful sort of afterglow. You can see right here. We're always looking for some kind of backdrop with some texture, with some mood. And in this case, we also used the foreground elements to create this interesting shot. Michael Hannock was with me to shoot this one. We always have such a good time at these things and really enjoy the art together. First dance is trying to get these lower, cleaner angles. Here also, just go a little lower so that we can get a nice clean angle looking upwards with this beautiful bokeh on these Christmas lights. The light, as you can see on his forehead, was coming from somewhere in this direction. Love to have a nice little backlight there. It's having so much fun. And here Mom gets into her beautiful, wise speech, and we're crescendoing up. Here, by the way, catered coconut. This is an interesting element you can consider for your wedding, where they, serve up these freshly opened, chilled coconuts. Super fun. People seem to love it. And here, look, this is that backdrop I was mentioning in the intro. You got Molokini back here, Kaho'olawe back here, and this beautiful, expansive ocean. And the 30-degree axis angle of the sun over here that I was mentioning for the ceremony right here is really an ideal spot. Sometimes in other locations, what will happen is the sun will be right behind the ceremony location, which is less than ideal to shoot directly into the sun. You can see how many angles it seems like we're covering here. People standing up, always important. And here again is that beautiful backdrop. Parker waiting, Sarah coming in. Oh, and Dad takes her the last moments down the aisle to Parker. And here they're recessing. I mean, what a beautiful shot. Again, we love to come up nice and close and pull them out. Group shots are always fun. Here's those poo-poos I was telling you about. Everything looked super delicious, and they had so much fun with the drinks. And here's the caricature. I'm not exactly sure who this is, but ask any wedding planner, and they'll probably be able to find out. Super fun. People were just enjoying it so much. The kids on hand were having a blast. Cake cutting and more beach walk. Here, we'll love to get the dynamism. If the dress isn't too, if it's a big poofy dress, this is kind of tough because sometimes, the groom might step on the dress and then people fall and it's game over. But when it's a dress that's not too poofy, that's form-fitting, like in this case, wonderful, where we can get some running shots and just have fun with it all. And here we packed out the drone for one final shot. All right, so this was the wedding at Gather on Maui. If you love the idea of being sort of perched higher up from the ocean, so you have those sweeping ocean views from a bit of a distance, then Gather is an excellent spot. They have a couple of areas where you can have your ceremony down at the grassy knoll where you saw in this wedding, and then there's also one up. You have to drive there, but it's farther up on the golf course called Molokini Lookout. So it's a great combo. It's not very far from the beach, so you can still get your beach romantic shots on and still get that into your wedding film and photos. So now we just covered 2 weddings on the south side of Maui. So next week we'll switch things up. And the next one we'll look at will be from the west side of Maui. And until then, be well and stay creative.